The age-old debate about the EFL playoff system being unfair has been raging. Here is my take. So what's this all about then? Every team has known the deal since we kicked off in July, haven't they? Well, yes, but we've got the great elephant in the room of a team scoring a huge regular season total, finishing third and then losing their semi-final first leg 4-0 to very likely end their promotion hopes. Let's be very clear, it's not an elephant in the room, it's an owl. But don't be confused, this is not a discussion about Sheffield Wednesday or any team that finishes third and potentially loses in the playoffs. It's about the system as a whole. Over on Talk Sport, Jamie O'Hara got involved, and while it's easy to be a little bit snooty about their particular brand of sensationalism at times, they have exactly the same free speech right as you or I, and they aren't the first to say such things. I won't waste any more time and say right now, I think the playoffs are magnificent and there's nothing wrong with the current system at all. In the words of that grumpy Scottish guy from Dragon's Den, you're asking me to invest in solving a problem that doesn't need solving. Here's why I think that. In the current system in the EFL, in the Championship and League One, the top two are promoted at the end of the league season. That means you have to have been in the top 8.33% of the teams in either of those divisions to go up automatically, or, being as we've mentioned TalkSport, let's spice it up a little, over 90% of teams in those divisions will not be promoted automatically. And here is my first philosophical disagreement with the third place sympathisers. Many people actually seem to think that a team's proximity to the top two means they have a link to the automatically promoted teams. Yes, they may have been battling with them during the season, but we're dealing with a binary here. You're either above the line or you're not. And yes, I was the kid moaning to the bouncer to let me into the club 1 week before my 18th birthday. And no, he didn't let me in. The remaining top 6 teams then play off for the third promotion place. So again, as a percentage, you need to be in the top 25% of the division to qualify for the playoffs. Now we go to knockout football. And I do understand people find it tough to cope with the switch from a 9-month, 46-game marathon to a 3-game tournament. But at the end of that tournament, 3 showpiece finals at Wembley Stadium, which allow fans and even players of clubs who might not otherwise get the chance to experience the hallowed turf of the national arena. Personally, I have no problem coping with the switch from league football to knockout football. I love the diversity. Look, you didn't quite meet the standard required to win through by the league method. Here you go. We'll give you another shot, but you've got to do it in a different way. And that's another part of this I feel people completely frame in the wrong manner. I just don't buy the playoffs as something that excludes third place. I think it should be viewed quite the contrary, as a second chance for third place. Just because the others are getting the chance alongside them should not change that fact. Now, to reflect that third place was the best performer during qualification, and let's be frank, that's what the league is when you finish between third and sixth. They get 2 advantages. They play the lowest ranked team in 6th position, and they get to play the home game second, including extra time and penalties. As a complete aside here, there was a time where I did think that the playoff system was unfair, and that was when the away goals rule used to apply. Fortunately, the authorities cottoned on to the fact that in giving the higher ranked team home advantage in the second leg, that in the event of extra time, they were actually giving the lower ranked team potentially 30 minutes more extra time to accumulate those precious away goals. So why do I like the system? Well, firstly, I think 2 up automatically is the right amount. I wouldn't want to go down as far as 7th for a promoted team. The top quarter of the division feels just right for a team moving up a division. And yes, I do acknowledge that that is what we get in League 2, where 3 go up automatically and 4 in the playoffs takes it down to 7th. I would prefer uniformity across the 3 AFL divisions. Opening up promotion to the entire top 6 then does a great job of keeping interest, intensity and integrity right through to the end of the season. We need teams facing other sides in the promotion or relegation shake-up to have as much on the line as possible for the best sense of competition and, of course, entertainment. And speaking of entertainment, the playoffs are just magnificent in that regard, with the danger and drama of knockout football providing some simply incredible moments over the years. There should be jeopardy. That's knockout football. And don't forget, the jeopardy is there for all of the teams, not just the one that finishes third. Reading the replies to my tweet in response to Mr. Jamie O'Hara on TalkSport, I was obviously positively endorsing the playoffs, got a huge number of responses and solutions, but they all seemed to want to do one thing and one thing only: remove as much jeopardy from the team who finished third, clearly feeling that playing the lowest ranked team and the second leg home advantage just isn't enough. Obviously, I disagree, but in the interest of a fair and balanced video, it's only right for me to hear them out. The most brutal suggestion was obviously top three go up, no playoffs. I mean, yes, you'll very clinically pull out the best three teams over the duration of the league, but by God, the postseason would be dull, and any division with big gaps around those zones would have potentially weeks of dead rubber games and no opportunity for fans of lower league sides to see their team play at Wembley. Horrible. Plenty of people suggested single game semi-finals with the higher ranked teams playing at home. Personally, I think that actually increases the jeopardy. If it's fairness that we're after, then we need more games rather than less. By way of reference, the NBA playoffs do a best of 7 series, and that obviously just would not work for football. Lots of people suggested the National League system. That is a 6-team playoff whereby 4th place to 7th play off over a single game eliminator with the higher ranked opponent at home. 2nd and 3rd then come into the equation. 2nd play the winner of the 5th versus 6th eliminator, and 3rd play the winner of 4th versus 7th in single game semis, with then the 2 winners meeting in the final. Obviously, I can see how people think it's fairer on the basis that the higher ranking sides play fewer games and they're all at home, but as I've said, I think a single leg carries more jeopardy than a double, and with 6 teams in them, we go all the way down to 7th, which I just think is too low in a 24-team league for someone to get promoted. Don't forget that this is also the league that everyone cries is unfair because only first place goes up. And while I do agree that 2 automatically is the best, that's probably one of the key drivers, though, how they've arrived at this particular playoff system. We heard, of course, about the system we started with back in the 80s, and I think they use it in Germany, that being 3rd, say, in the Championship, going against 3rd bottom in the Premier League. Not for me. I just love the divisional system, and I feel that you should test yourself against those in your division to go up or down. If you are or aren't good enough, you do it against your peers. And given crazy wealth gaps, I can't see that it's fairer than a 2-leg semi against someone potentially lower in your own division. The most weird and wonderful suggestions involved goal head starts and handicaps and points thresholds being taken into account for particularly high performance in the regular season. Look, I'm totally not on board with goal handicaps, but I will say that the points threshold thing is actually what's used in schools, where the SATs papers are all marked to ascertain the difficulty and standard of the particular year, and the pass mark is actually decided afterwards. That would certainly calm down those feeling badly for Notts County and Sheffield Wednesday, but it's just way too complicated for me, and I like the clarity that we currently have. So that is my take. Let me know yours down there in the comments. As always, let's please try and interact calmly. This is completely subjective. I'm not right, I'm not wrong, neither are you. Everyone has their right to a view, and disagreement shouldn't equal disrespect. I think the 3 areas I would love to see avoided in this discussion, which don't really help, are outcome bias. I'm frankly more interested in your solutions if you think there is a problem. Personal investment, take the team you support out of it. Remember, I'm an Ipswich fan. You cannot beat me when it comes to playoff heartbreak. And reflexive sympathy. Look, I think it's a good quality to empathise with a sports team coming so close and losing out. But that's life, I'm afraid, and not grounds to govern upon. Stick with me here on the channel. In the reality that we're all living in, we do have playoffs, thankfully, and drama and jeopardy. Click up here to see my take on the first legs as we roll into week 2 of the always magnificent EFL playoffs.